People who have found their friends' secret Reddit accounts. What was the most shocking thing you found out about them? I read a story on AskReddit once that seemed really familiar, and noticed the username was the same handle my friend's husband had used for years all across the internet. I went looking through his history and found out my friend had serious psychiatric disorders, was a pathological liar, had emotionally abused him all throughout their relationship, and had turned to physical abuse after getting married, eventually cheated, and they divorced. I was absolutely shocked, since although I didn't see her regularly, we lived states apart, we kept in contact over social media, and I'd had absolutely no hint of this whatsoever. I went back through her various SMS and at first things didn't make any sense since she was still tagging the husband, and things seemed to be fine. A bit more digging and I realized she had basically nuked her account. The account she was tagging was a fake account, so it wasn't actually her husband, it was just an account with the same name and profile picture, and she was pretending they were still together. It seemed like she would log into both accounts and reply to posts as her husband. The next time she started chatting with me I asked about the husband, seeing if she would open up, but she pretended they were still together and that he had said hi to me etc. It was really creepy knowing the truth and just seeing all these lies about what they were doing together. Holy crap, that's seriously messed up. Poor guy. So a buddy of mine recently got Snapchat and had a very unique username that deals with where we grew up. When I saw that username auto-populate on my Snap I immediately knew it was him. You can imagine how shocked I was when I saw how active that same username is in Naughty from Neglect and Rayob. He married one of my best friends, so I was really surprised to see him activity search and even more shocked when all his posts are looking for males only. I don't usually share terribly incriminating stuff, but my nephew did discover a post in which I suggested jerking off directly into the toilets to avoid cleanup. Embarrassing, but I hope he found it to be valuable practical advice. Toilet Master Race. So I had felt for a while that my girlfriend's family didn't like me, but whenever I said anything to her about it, she insisted I was wrong and just imagining it. Then I found her brother's Reddit profile. He and I are fans of the same baseball team, and in a post on that team sub I saw a post that sounded just like him. Clicked on the username and it was definitely him. Lots of identifying details. So I start scrolling through, and sure enough he has posted several times things like, "My family and I hate my sister's boyfriend. It hurt my feelings, and I also felt like my girlfriend kinda gaslit me by insisting I was wrong. But I will say one thing made me feel better. He did a post on Am I the Butthole about whether he's in butthole for not wanting to invite me to family stuff, and basically everyone said he's a butthole because his reasons for not liking me are really shallow and stupid." I had a fairly new co-worker that moved back home to care for his sick mom. A couple months later he asked management if he could come back and they said yes. He must have been having trouble coping with something, because he disappeared sometime in the afternoon on his first day back. A day or two after he disappeared, a post was made on a local subreddit that was obviously him based on what I knew about him. He was just asking if anyone wanted to hang out because he didn't have many friends. I got really worried and asked him if everything was okay. He never responded and deleted his Reddit account shortly after. Anyway, he was really into weed and programming. We could have been really good friends. Found my ex commenting on P using the same pet names he would use for me. It was actually great because it killed any residual feelings I had for him. Oh frick yeah, champ. I found a co-workers and they are really lonely, insecure, and post asking for a lot of advice. It is pretty sad. Then I got nervous they'd be able to somehow see my posts since I viewed their profile, so I went through and deleted my posts and account. I keep 2 accounts and the occasional alt. One account that I post in my city's sub and more identifying info, and another account I post in my profession field's job. My field is small enough that combined with my city and other comments posts, anyone who knows me could put it together. So I keep it separate. At least you're not paranoid. She does some very interesting cosplays and photo shoots. I shouldn't have been too surprised as some of her Facebook pics were interesting, but these were much more so. You can't just say that and not tell us more, you know. Found a family member's account and was unpleasantly surprised by how many disparaging comments there were about me and my family. Sorry, but if you're one of my sisters or my brother, you'll really deserve it. I found my co-worker's Reddit account recently. Apparently she feels really invalidated and underappreciated in her position, which really surprised me because she's a highly influential manager who makes probably more than 3x as much as me. Management is a thankless job. If she's doing a good job or you appreciate something she's done, tell her. It will make her day. On another account I deleted, my ex and I were posting about our breakup and had no clue that we were inadvertently commenting on each other's post. Fast forward a few weeks and I posted about committing suicide, and as I'm walking to my car I am stopped by police and they tell me that they had a call about me wanting to harm myself and even told me how I'd do it. Something only Reddit knew when I posted it. Long story short, I am sketched the frick out and notice I have a follower Reddit. I went back to see anyone I've been talking to and that user was the only one. Then I went and snooped through her history and I knew in my gut who it was. It was very strange, but I am so very thankful. We no longer speak anymore and she hates me, but she honestly saved my life that night. I would have died had I not been stopped by authorities. If you are reading this, thank you. Update. Holy smokes. I didn't even think many people would read this. Thank you everyone for the kind messages and the honor of awarding me gold. Just so you know, this was a little over a year ago and I am so much better mentally than I was. I've been on medication, therapy, exercising. Does wonders BTW. If you ever feel like you're in a dark place, just know that people love you and care about you, even ones that you might not expect. This is such a wholesome story in a weird way. This is a bit different, but my friend from when I was doing roller derby found me on here. We chatted. Nothing too surprising for either of us in our posts except I'm bipolar, which she didn't know. The hardest thing is she died 3 weeks ago. I keep going to her account here and her last messages to me as it makes me feel better to know she's still on Reddit in a weird way. She had epilepsy and died suddenly in her sleep before her 33rd birthday, so it was very unexpected and sad. I'm sorry for your loss. I also still message my dad on Facebook. It helps sometimes. I cry and vent to him and tell him about my day. I even ask questions and sometimes every now and then I forget that he isn't going to reply. My ex. Asking for nudes and phone sex. I was right next to him when I found it. He gave me his secret username instead of his normal one accidentally when I asked him. Yeah. Silly me too. I just laughed it off and tried to not make a deal about it because it was really embarrassing what he wrote and I couldn't really talk to my friends about it. But should have noped out then and there. My ex was asking girls on Facebook for nudes and then reposting them on porny subreddits, including comments about being a butterface or mocking a girl's stretch marks in another. Also a pee addict done. Found my wife's account. It wasn't a secret account per se, but then again I didn't know she even had an account to begin with. Turns out she's a really nice person who posts positive and uplifting things to people who usually need to hear it. 10/10 would marry again. My girlfriend is the same way. I love reading the stuff she comments when I'm feeling down. Everything she posts is so wholesome and amazing. Be right back. I miss her. They are strongly opinionated on the idea of circumcision. Like extremely opposed to it. I'm extremely close with this person and I had absolutely no clue how passionate they were about the subject. I can't help noticing your own username. A wide and vast array of colorful kinks. No judgment here. This originally started as a throwaway for the same reason. I see you like girls wearing thigh highs covered in CM. Mark. I see you, and I don't judge you. But I'll never tell him I found it. They like their wife. He mocks my wife is my best friend guy, but on Reddit he mentions her in every comment as a subtle way to flaunt the fact he got laid. Absolute degenerate. He was exactly who I thought he was. It turns out that sometimes a great friend is also a great person. Same. I learned absolutely nothing new. Turns out he's very upfront about who he is and what he likes. At least with me, anyway. That my friend was suicidal. Nobody knew until one of us had to go onto his laptop to turn in an assignment for one of his classes. He thought everyone was just playing with him and that we as his friends secretly loathed him. When we told him, he became mad and deleted his Reddit and said it was all a joke. He killed himself 9 months later. I miss you, Shajid. He was my friend. I thought. Turns out he made a whole incel-inspired post about how I was an idiotess who wouldn't sleep with him. It sounded so similar I was pretty sure it was him. A couple of clicks throughout his profile and it was 100% him. Not friends anymore. He talked mad crap about even his best friend and secretly despised some of us. My best friend is dating his, but I stopped talking to him. So did my best friend. That a couple of things he will occasionally deride as weird or doesn't get. He is in fact quite a bit into. And by quite a bit I mean a lot into. My boyfriend opened Reddit on my computer and noticed I was logged in. I guess didn't find it but still. And wondered why I had so much karma. Realized I mostly post cat stuff and called me cute. I don't think he's looked at it since. That she's actually been in love with my dumb butt for the last 5 years and now we're dating. Update. We broke up a week ago. Sorry to disappoint. Well, mine wasn't exactly secret, but I didn't exactly advertise it either. A friend from college found it, and through my posts he found out that I had a massive crush on him. Long story short, we're getting married in 2 months. You did it, Reddit. This is so cool. That they were secretly talking crap about me. Always knew he was kind of a B, and when I saw his response to an AskReddit question, who's your friend who you secretly don't like and what did they do, I saw his true feelings about me. Oh, Noah, is that you? Reading this response, frick off. I hope his last name is Fence. Not Reddit, but another community. If they are on Reddit I haven't seen anything yet. But anyhow, sexual deviant. Very much into exhibitionism and public performances with a high risk of getting caught, either solo or with a hubby. That they like to have their butt filled. Some people, they're friendly. They'll ask if you want a coffee if they're making a run to Starbucks. You just don't think, hey, this person likes a zucchini up the old back door. Fairly common. My friend thinks that incest is totally okay and should be legalized nationwide. That one threw me for a loop. If you're reading this, check my post history and you'll know who I am, buddy. P. I automatically think people know who I am on any and all social media sites, so I don't post something that I don't care if someone finds out. My friends and family may be surprised that I'm romantic, but everything else is widely known in my circle. I was crushed to discover many of his funny anecdotes were stories from Reddit and 4chan he stole and said happened in his own life. He commented on most of them, asking details and really strange comments. It was pretty sad. I know for a fact that one of my friends found my account because I was talking about a comment I made that had a surprising number of upvotes, and he went looking during the D&D session and told me he clicked the follow button. I'm not exactly secretive about my Reddit use and don't try to hide anything about it, even if I also don't generally advertise it either. I'm the same person on Reddit as I am in real life, so it doesn't bother me too much. But I definitely bring up the fact I'm on probation to random internet strangers when it's at all relevant, much more than I ever would to people I know in real life. Though I don't think I've actually said what the charges are except in person to my closest friends. He hasn't brought it up, and I have no idea how actively he stalks me. But my charges are just a Google away since he knows my name. And it's nothing I've talked to him about in real life. I feel like if he did let curiosity get the better of him, though, it might answer a couple questions he might have about my family dynamic that are a little different from what it used to be as a result of my mistakes. I found out my best friend is a gay furry. He has strict Catholic parents, so I never saw it coming. Doesn't change my friendship with him though. My friends have found my Reddit main ACC since my dumbass linked it with my Discord. Jason, if you see this, you're dumb as heckle mayo. She boasted in a thread about being right when telling my ex-husband that I have BPD, and she was so smug about it. I do not. I'm actually not diagnosed with anything a year after my separation and doing crap loads of work on myself. If she stalks me too, I want her to know both my therapist and doctor agree that I'm 100% mentally stable. She sounds like a B. That he served in the army for 10 years, but is also going to high school at 11 and also manages to juggle 3 jobs and a kid while also going through a divorce. I didn't know he had such a crazy life. I haven't found any, but just out of curiosity, how does one go about finding out someone's account? Even my email is something completely off the wall that no one short of a deep web hacker would be able to trace back to me. Or did I just answer my own question? They say something that is just a little too coincidental, so you look at their post history and there's enough info that there's no way they aren't so and so. I work with youth at risk, so I'm obviously not allowed to let any of the kids I work with on FB or social media, but they'll stalk me regularly, find my secret accounts, find my YouTube, and then I'll try to tell a story and they'll say, yeah, I already know. One kid told me they took screenshots of my posts and kept them on their phone. That was a little weird, to be honest. They even found my kinda Insta I used to follow yaoi, anime, pop, and post cute more feminine stuff. The problem with working with youth is they are better at technology than me. It makes me feel like a celebrity, but it's frustrating cause I can't really post on anything anymore without having to double think about it in case one of my kids finds it, I set a bad example, or they'll go full creep and take screenshots. Reddit, you are my safe place. Please don't change. I found one of my co-workers, who was in a long-term monogamous hetero relationship, was trying to become sexy pen pals with a trans woman. Whatever floats your boat, but I did not expect that from him, a conservative young guy from the rural Midwest. Not Reddit, but another social media site. It was a neighbor and for a while co-worker. Newts, flashing, weed, at a job where there's zero tolerance. Group sec. Him and his wife definitely had fun. Groups need security, no shame in that. Someone I know online looked up one of my other usernames and found my Reddit account. Luckily they can only get glimpses since they don't use Reddit. I found an account with multiple sets of face pics that look exactly like someone I know, but a post from only 2 months ago says they're in a different state, so I'm thoroughly confused. I only know of them. I doubt they know me. We went to the same camp and go to the same youth group, but their first post was some weird fetish thing. So yeah, I'm never bringing it up. Might have said a different state to throw people off. Reading through this thread, I'm a bit scared that a friend would find my Reddit profile, but then I realized I don't have any friends. Found out one of my friends was into crossdressing and posted a lot of NSW pics. He looked like a very convincing girl. He figured out I knew when I said his username during a conversation about Reddit. He just went quiet, looked at me and said, "So, what do you think?" I chuckled and said, "Do what you wanna do, I'm not gonna judge." He's still a good friend. Pup play. He loves putting on a hood, going to leather fetish bars on a leash, and acting like a human dog hybrid. He said it helps him decompress and it's mostly psychological. The most interesting part was how often and vehemently he denied being a furry. I know it may sound like splitting hairs to me, but it's definitely had notes of he who doth protest too much. Pup play and letherdom is not really the same as furrydom. There may be some crossover to the outsider, but to those in the scene they are starkly different. He was extremely obsessed with wrestling. Posted on every possible wrestling based subreddit with some regularity. We love him all the more for it. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.